should have either left now or
Glamping.
yeah. Oh, they got a new Twitter thing where you can't go live on Twitter without premium.
Oh, for real?
Well, I'll turn off the Twitter then.
Now, where was that to, did you say?
Gatlinburg, or Pigeon Forge, which is right next to Gatlinburg.
Why do I know Gatlinburg? Is that like way... No, I don't know Gatlinburg. Is there also a Gatlinburg, Virginia?
It's possible.
Yes, there is.
Like,
no,
yeah,
there's
I was
not.
gonna say it's possible. Those states, they copy a lot of stuff off each other.
No.
But everybody knows Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge are where all the cabins and all that kind of stuff. And they got like the Titanic, the little thing that's there, a whole bunch of wax museums.
I think somebody invited us to go to Gatlinburg one time.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. Like
There's
years ago.
It's for adults too, because there's a bunch of moonshine tasting places. Like
Yeah. I think that's what it was.
Your ID and they give you like 10 different shots of moonshine.
Okay.
They talk through the whole process. Like it's a good time.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. I think somebody tried to convince us to go out there one time.
You're supposed to grab a group and get like a big cabin, like a 2 or 3 story cabin with a pool, hot tub, grill, and just go out there. And a lot of videos on social media, they got like people that have like bears walking up to their walking up to the cabin and trying to get in the doors and stuff.
You got to let them in. You really want to make it interesting.
Gotta let Yogi in. Let me see this. I'm gonna do this Joe Tate thing. You tell me if you can hear it.
I can't so far.
Okay. Rubber Rim Job. Man, season 3, episode 17, Jig.
Yeah, buddy.
It's time to put a bow on this season. It's time to put a bow on our podcast season, I think.
Long past time, man. Long overdue, right?
We had a lot of things happen for the Cavs over the last few weeks to sort of bring us to what some consider the closure, of the calendar season. But things are full force right now, with other sports. I just saw breaking news that Amari Cooper is in camp.
Yep.
So we didn't have that. I was worried because I was like, oh man, I got good vibes. We got our new workout stuff and all this kind of stuff. And it just feels like there's a season of momentum for the Browns before it even starts. And Andrew Berry is the man. He went and resolved that, giving this dude a restructured contract for the year. So he's in camp. So
am I going to allow myself to talk positively about the Browns? What am I doing here? I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not saying anything good.
Okay. You don't want to jinx us.
I can't.
Okay.
You know what? They're going to be good this year. What am I doing? They're going to be a good team. They can't not be, right? Well, I don't even know what it would take. They didn't even have Deshaun. I mean, he wasn't even doing anything, and they still found a way to win with Joe off the couch, white shoe, New Balance, jean short, Flacco.
Donovan, whatever his name, I'll say Donovan Robinson. Whatever his name was, Dorian Robinson, Jermaine Jackson.
Thompson, Foster, Johnson, Robertson.
One of the Jackson 5 boys. And that other guy who everybody hated, but we were just like, whatever. If he's going to help us win, he was like 5'5". He's up there.
Right.
What's his name?
Josh Cribbs? I don't know. Who was he?
I mean, basically, yes, he looked like Josh Cribbs. I think he was just to turn the ball over at the wrong time. And I don't remember his name right now, but anyway.
I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, so
it was number 60 on the jersey.
Yeah, we don't want to jinx it, but we didn't have a left tackle or a right tackle like a couple weeks into the season, and now we've got like a franchise right tackle in DeJuan Jones. So I mean, it's pretty exciting times on that front. As the boys, if you're an overall Cleveland fan and you're excited about the training camp starting here in these next few days,
can I ask you something? Do you have like a Cleveland Brown that like when you see him run out onto the field, like you get like a little giddy, like you get like a little something about him, like gives you a little like extra pep in like your step?
Are you talking about current?
Is it run? Yeah, like I don't know, they just like make you kind of happy.
In the past, over the past almost decade, that was Joe Thomas every time.
Joe Thomas got you.
I felt like I was related. I felt like Joe Thomas was a cousin. I felt like you could walk up to him after a game and he would probably just sit there and talk to you.
You would.
Now there's two guys.
Okay.
Nick Chubb.
100%. Got him on my wall behind me.
Okay. Nick Chubb for sure. And David Njoku has really grown on me a whole lot.
David Njoku, interesting.
He got over his little dropsies, but he's really, really good with off the field and connecting. And I mean, that's not what's most important.
Mm-hmm.
But he picked up the mantle, like where people like Joe Hayden and Josh Cribbs, they always were like, I get you guys.
Yeah, Cribbs had that big time.
David Njoku spent the entire summer checking Micah Parsons and just putting him in his place. So
did he?
Yeah, Micah Parsons always has something to say about the Cleveland Browns. I don't know why he felt that. I'm pretty sure we beat Dallas, but
David Njoku, I didn't know about that. What was that about?
I don't know. I mean, Micah Parsons went to Penn State. I don't know if he was just hating. I don't know. But David Njoku went out of his way on 3 or 4 different occasions to check Micah Parsons.
Okay. Yeah, Chubb is definitely.
Yeah, Chubb is that guy.
Chubb is definitely that guy, and I know that this is so basic, but Miles, obviously.
Yeah, okay. What about Chubb? Is it just his demeanor, like how he just goes to work?
You know what? Sort of, but I don't really care that. I don't care that much about run into the end zone, drop the football type stuff. I like guys who celebrate. Actually, I like the team celebrations, and that kind of gets me going too. I like that it pisses off the opponents like that. I've talked about that before. I like the whole WWE thing.
Right.
For me, with Chubb, honestly, I like how explosive he is, and I just like how great he is, and I like that Cleveland has a player that's that great.
Yeah.
To me, it's just to have a generational player out there.
It's crazy, man.
So exciting. It's what's funny to me too is he's weirdly somehow under the radar. I feel like if you go out to somebody and you were to tell them yeah, Nick Chubb is literally one of the greatest running backs of all time, you get a reaction that's sort of well, no, and I'd be like, no, I don't think you realize he's literally one of the greatest running backs of all time. If he puts up 1 or 2 more seasons like this, you could make an argument that he's a top 5 RB ever.
I agree. In another era, Jig, just 10 years ago, his numbers already. Oh man, did you freeze?
They're already there.
Yeah.
They're already there. The problem is just that he hasn't. Damn it! He couldn't just do 1 or 2 more of these seasons. It had to happen right now. I'm throwing down on Chubb here.
Okay.
You got people that are doing the whole he's going to come back and he's going to be average. Dude, this guy is an absolute monster. He already came back from this when he was in college.
Yeah,
he is a total freak. Medicine is on a whole different level now. I think maybe he'll have lost a step, maybe.
Right.
I think he's going to come back. I think he's going to be a monster. I think he's going to be a monster still. Maybe he won't be as good as he was, but before he was, again, one of the greatest running backs of all time. I think he's still going to be a top 5 guy in the league.
So I agree with you 100%. I don't know. Are you frozen? Do you see yourself frozen right now?
Yeah. Oh, man, okay. It's still doing this, huh?
I was just making sure.
Hang on. So how do I do this? How do I unfreeze it? Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect. And it's in real time, too.
Well, as long as you can hear me. What if I stop the cam and then restart it?
I was about to say if I removed you from the stage, but I don't want to do
that. Remove me. Can you remove me of audio?
You are back, but without video this time.
Because it does that whenever I'm on Zoom calls lately. It looks like it's doing that in here. I think it must be an internet thing. Here, I think I'm going to have to reset. Shit.
Uh-oh.
Should I not do that?
No, it's your call.
If I do that, it resets our whole thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, you'll probably drop off the episode, but I don't know if it'll.
Oh man. Would you be able to reconnect it, or is that going to create?
Yeah, no, that sucks.
That does suck. I don't think there's much I can do about it either because it's been doing this on Zoom calls, and I've tried to reset I think I'm going to have to just reset it and take my chances.
You all right?
Oh, I'm here. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect. Oh, man.
I think I have to reset it.
You bastard. All right, I can fly solo for a minute. All right. So Rubber Rim Job, while he is resetting and getting out of his technical difficulties, I'll wrap up the Browns talk. We were starting to show some love to Nick Chubb, and I hope that's not an omen. Oh, wait, he's back and his video is working. All right. I was getting ready to wing it.
I knew I'd be back. I'm just concerned about whether we can reconnect that, if that's going to be an issue.
I was getting ready to wrap up the Browns talk by saying, training camp is here. Amari Cooper is back in there. The guy that we're most excited about, Nick Chubb, with his weird Batman/Wolverine healing, he's back.
That's our guy.
And our supposedly from the very beginning, our QB is back, and we're ready to go. We're ready to see what this team is going to do here.
Whatever he's going to do, I have no predictions for him.
Me either. I do like that they went and got Jameis Winston.
Absolutely.
Last season, it was like, wait, what are we doing? And it just was.
Jameis is a good pickup, big time.
So anyway, then on the other side of the, not on the other side of the river, but the other side of the gateway there, these guards are representing. I mean, they're 3-7 in their last 10, but they're still the third best team in baseball.
Mm-hmm. And so they've been struggling lately. They just, I don't know if they've completely hit the wall. The pitching's not great. The starting pitching has been an issue the whole season. Once they had those injuries to their key guys, the hitting has slowed down. They got a bunch of guys that are kind of trying out for positions, which is always a little bit risky. I like that. I mean, I'm excited. I like seeing all these new guys coming up, like Junkenzie. I mean, I like. I don't know. I mean,
he's got a presence at the plate.
He does. He's a beast. He's got that
physical. I haven't felt this way since I saw Franmil Reyes.
Yeah, that dude was a monster. They both have that monstrous build up there.
Yeah. But this dude's got like an athletic monster. It's like remember Wayne Kirby?
I do remember Wayne Kirby.
He's got like a
stocky as hell.
Looked like Shannon Sharp playing baseball or something like that.
Yeah. Well, they clearly have made it a priority to pick up guys who can just hit the ball. Like every one of these guys is like, it seems like they're not, but it seems like they're hitting for like an average velo of like 107 and up, which is not, obviously that's not the case, but they consistently hit balls in that range. It's crazy how hard they hit that damn ball. So I don't know. I like it. I mean, I like seeing these young guys hit the ball. I'm concerned that this drop off is going to
sustain for a while.
I'm afraid it is, but we'll see. We'll see. I hope they can pick it back up.
Earlier in the season, as McKenzie kept struggling, I was like, first thing we lost our ace. And then as we kept going, it was like, all right, well, Stickman, he'll step it up. It's time for him to grow up, bounce back, and it's just not been the case. So,
right. Like Quan dropped a little bit, and
he was hitting out of his mind. Like
he was.
he was literally knocking on the door at 400 for a little bit there.
Naylor fell off, and he was having a monster season, and Bo hasn't really shown out. Menez is falling off, and the Schnee. I mean, I don't know. It's exciting to watch. I don't know. It's exciting to watch him. It's exciting to watch Junkenzie, and just see what those two dudes can do. But like our key guys who were all like going crazy all at the same time, all dropped off. I don't know. Those guys should all pick back up.
Yeah, I think so.
The key guys. So we'll see what happens. Maybe
they really got something special. There was a moment there that weekend where Shaq was like DJing on the field and stuff.
Oh, our field?
Yeah, you don't remember Shaq? Shaq was at at Progressive Field before the game, and Stephen Kwan went on stage. He had.
I didn't know that happened.
Yeah. So there was that moment where I was like, "Oh wait, this feels like a season of dreams. Like this is about to take off."
Might still be. Might be.
We hit a wall for a little.
Got a lot would have to happen, but I will say this: all of those guys aren't going to hit as bad as they are for the rest of the season.
I agree.
So that's not going to happen, right? So
I agree, 100%.
That's the one thing to keep in mind. they're all having like the worst parts of their season right now. So we'll see what happens. Love the team.
We're deep in it, and it looks like it may turn into a pennant race unless they can shake out of it really quickly, because they've got a couple, Minnesota, Kansas City. They got a couple teams that are like really.
They have the second toughest schedule the rest of the way.
So we got. I mean, if you love baseball, you got an exciting.
I do.
Couple of months right here where this is like pretty much every other day or so. These guys are going to be throwing that thing around. So, and then this weekend we've got the Olympics kicking off.
We do.
Pretty exciting time. Are you big on that?
I was gonna say, I get on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say I'm like a 6.5 in the Olympics, and honestly, I like to look at the ladies.
Right, absolutely.
Kind of like one of my top things, right? I mean, who doesn't?
Absolutely.
And then I like to watch us play basketball. Track events are fun. Sure. That's like beyond that, I don't really get that into it.
Weirdly, so I think because I used to sit with my grandmother and she would watch everything. She would watch like archery. She would watch
archery. Wow.
She'd watch all kinds of stuff. So I've just come to have an appreciation, because it'd be like,
that's cool. See, I wish that.
Because they go from like midnight until, I don't know. Well, I'm thinking Australian, but it's on a lot, like during the time where they're active.
Oh yeah, it's like all day, yeah.
And
I wish I felt that way about it.
Man, it's like the way I learned to watch it with her, my grandmother. She would always, it was the diversity in the different cultures. So she'd be like, why is China good at this? Why is, like the different, and we'd sit there and watch and we'd try to figure it out, kind of thing.
I dig that. that. No, I know what you're talking about. I think that's really neat. Maybe I've made changes on stuff like that as I get older. Maybe it's one of those things where I can sit down and make it a point to educate myself.
Just kind of fun. And I don't even know all of this stuff, like some rugby and cricket and all that kind of stuff.
Watch rugby. I could like rugby.
Actually, I was watching. They had some friendlies or whatever. They were doing a warm up. I was like, man, this is pretty tough. Like, these dudes are pretty crazy. Yeah. So, the Olympics are coming up. That we're getting ready to kick off with that. We just had. I'm gonna cover the USA thing real quick, and then we're gonna talk some wine and gold. Good guys.
No doubt.
The Team USA, I don't know if you had a chance to watch them at all. It's like
tracked them, haven't watched them. I'm aware of what's been going on. I like when they get challenged like this. It's much more fun.
It's weird. It's like I think part of it is that they haven't sorted out yet their hierarchy all the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching it and I'm like, man, we're falling off because these dudes the international countries are catching up, because they don't just sit around playing that WWF type of basketball. And so we've got some guys that are major rotation players, and I'll say two names: Joel Embiid and Devin Booker.
Are screwing things up, or
look like absolute crap, because they're foul hunting, and they're like Devin Booker.
It's not going to work.
Looks like he's trying to play like James Harden, and I'm like, what are you doing? I don't know if he just did that this past season. I thought he was better than the way he's been looking out here.
I didn't watch Phoenix. I didn't watch him at all this last season. Now that you're saying that, I didn't watch any of Phoenix.
He's stuck in mud. His jumper has been crap, and I actually can't wait until they take him out and put Anthony Edwards in. Like it's that dramatic of a drop off between the two of them.
I go out of my way to watch Ant, so there is that.
He's light years better. He looks like Wade out there compared to Devin Booker. Looks like Allen Houston right now.
The Michael Jordan comparison was always weird for Ant. I think the Wade comparison is much better, to be honest with you. That explosiveness. So I did find it interesting to see that LeBron, interesting but not shocking, is clearly taking over at the end of these games. So obviously he has not let go of the mantle. Is that working out for him? Does it look weird? Is it forced? Oh, man, I'm frozen again.
Oh, man.
Should we just keep rolling?
Yeah, keep rolling. The most frustrating thing watching this has been watching LeBron not give ground. He insists on being the point guard, and it's just
bad.
Yeah. he starts off a game and he gives a really good effort. Like he's got like tip dunks and alley oops on the first or second possession.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes through a period of time where he looks like that trusty old Buick that takes a long time to turn over and really get going, you know?
Yes.
He'll start off and he's like, boom, Ferrari. And then he'll be like, all right, the rest of this quarter, y'all getting Buick right now. Kind of thing. So
I missed the 2018 Ferrari that we used to get. Back when you could count on it, just goes to show, man. Like when we used to get, what did we get? What would you say we used to get like from 2003 to 2007? That was like some other kind of, what kind of car would you call that? Some kind of,
I don't even, it wasn't even a Tesla because it was like,
no, Tesla popped into my mind, but that wasn't it. It was more like it was like a muscle car, right? Like it was like kind of raw power, like not quite.
It was like when Hummer, when H2s first came out. Actually, not even H2s, the actual Hummer.
Was it more like a hot rod type of car? Do you think maybe could it more have been like a Chevelle? Just pure power, like unharnessed, uncontrolled.
I've never seen anything like that with the power, but also the brain. There was so much. I was just like, this dude is never before seen. But let me tell you what, at the very least, at the very most, he should be playing like 20 minutes a night max right now.
Now.
And he's making up for it with his brain, but when he's got guys like Embiid, looks like he should be playing 10 to 15 minutes tops.
I can't stand Embiid at this point.
It's hard to watch.
He is hard to watch. There was a while where I loved watching Embiid. He was really fun, and then now it's gotten to the point where it's I can't do it with him.
He has definitely taken the mantle as the number one foul merchant, and he's looking for fouls all nonstop.
It's like him and Harden just sat there at practice for a while, and it's like I remember when there was the refs. They like made it a point before games to be like, who can take the longest to call the first foul, right?
Yeah.
Like those two, or just they sit there and they're like, let's just completely fuck this game up. It's like who can get the most fouls and just ruin the experience for the fans.
Yeah, no, him and Embiid being on the same team, Harden and Embiid, that definitely has changed the trajectory of
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. They don't care. They don't care about the entertainment of the fans. They're not about that. They're more just like, let's get them as many points as we possibly can. Get a rest.
Just not fun to watch. And I don't pity Philly because it like, but it feels, honestly, it feels weird, man. Like I feel like 5 or 6 years ago, you were like, oh my, like they're about to dominate for like a decade.
I enjoyed watching them.
And in real time, you just saw Philly mismanagement and Boston surpass. Like the team that looked like they were supposed to be positioned for this ultimately got lapped. And now they're like third, fourth, fifth kind of thing and just continually dropping. So
brief comment on Philly, because I was out there for work. The Reading Terminal Market, I think it's called.
Right.
Man, incredible. What a spot.
Okay.
What a spot that is.
I have a hospital in Reading. I have 2 that are fighting up there. I got one in Philly, one in Reading. But the Reading CEO is so mean, I never go up there. Are you telling me I need to make my way up to Reading, PA?
Well, no. The Reading Terminal Market is a spot in Philly. I know Reading is a place, but Reading Terminal Market is like an indoor, quote unquote, like farmers market inside. Like it's in the middle of Philly,
kind of like,
and it's got like it's like West Side Market, yeah.
Okay.
If you went to 10 places in a 2-week period, 7 or 8 of them might have been the best of whatever you had at those spots. Like best whatever of a Jewish deli, best smoothie you ever had, like best bagel, maybe not bagel, but like best anything you ever had. Like I had the best smoothie I'd ever had. At one spot in there, had one of the best lattes I'd had. And then it was just like a series of incredible spot. People will know. People out in Philly will know. What's his name?
Two for the Brew.
I was going to say, 2 for the Brew will listen. He'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
All right. Fair enough. All right. I did for my daughter's 16th birthday. She went up there to hang out with her big sister for like a week and some change.
Did she like it?
Yeah, she loved it. They kept going out to find different things to eat. They're really diverse. So yeah, no, she loved it. She enjoyed herself.
Good. All right, back to ball.
All right. So we just wrapped up a calendar year that saw some transition there as soon as the season ended. Let me see if I have it right.
Transition City, baby.
Yeah. There was, everybody was on pins and needles about who they would ultimately appoint as head coach.
Yeah.
I had a quiet confidence, Jig. I don't know why.
You did.
I feel like I paid my dues, and it was only a matter of time before we got that part right.
You had him before the end of the season, man. You were talking about him. I think you were talking about him last season.
I was talking about Kenny Atkinson for the last 2.5 years. I've been talking about Kenny Atkinson since we lost to Atlanta and Brooklyn.
Earwaxed the max.
Where you see that? Oh, I always forget that whole clip. And since I can't see you, it's like, wait, what? I'm flying blind, and I never know whenever you're serious. So yes, earwax to the max.
I'll have to give you. I have to use my inflection a little bit better this way. Maybe I'll just tap twice.
Yeah.
For sarcasm.
So how do you feel about the way this calendar, and you can, we've got, let me go through the bullet points real quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you're sleeping under a rock, over the last couple of weeks, we re-signed Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley.
Yep.
We had our draft, which actually led us to taking Jalen Tyson. We had free agency, which to date, Cavaliers are one of the only teams who did nothing on the market. And like with free agency and the draft, there's always trades. We literally the only thing that we've done is draft Jalen Tyson and re-sign these two guys. We just finished summer league where Jalen Tyson was playing. Cavs went 2-3, but Jalen Tyson and Luke Travers really showed really well. Both. I don't know if you got a chance to watch them.
A little bit, and I'm very. Okay. Go on, and then I want to.
And the last bullet point is, where are we at with what's going to happen with Isaac Okoro's restricted free agent status? And is there anything that might happen with LeVert and George Niang? And then that's where we are. That's a whole mouthful but it seems like they didn't really do much kind of thing.
Good rundown.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna comment on a couple of those things, and then I want to leave some on the plate for you.
Okay.
First things first, I'm not shocked that they didn't do anything in free agency. I would have to imagine that there was conversation, right, with Kenny, right? I mean, they I'm sure would have asked for his input. You're not going to make a bunch of decisions without talking to the coach. I'm going to guess there was a lot of conversation about we got to run it back with a new coach and see what he can do with the squad that we just had. Is my guess. I could be wrong, but that is my assumption. I'm thinking they probably. I can't believe they're deluded enough to think that this is an NBA championship quality team, but I would have to think they want to see what they got at the beginning of the season and then move from there, right?
Okay.
I, as a fan, do not think this is an NBA championship winner. I think there's a move that probably needs to be made. Okay. Once I'm done here, I want to ask you what you think that move is. I want to make one or two more comments here, and then I want to hear what you have to say here. But I will say, I went back and forth all damn season about what I thought about Donovan Mitchell. As a fan, we talked early in the show about who that guy is that you see out there that just sort of makes you happy. Man, it's Donovan Mitchell for me. I just love this guy.
Yeah.
I just love him, man.
All right.
Okay. I understand. I totally get it. It's a weird fit. It's a weird fit with Darius, and it's just it's weird. It's funky. It's when you have a guy like that, there's a lot of pressure. Right. There's a timeline issue. There's a fit issue with him and Garland. I happen to like the man. I happen to like the style of play. He's a player that I like. At the same time, I acknowledge that I don't know what his future is with the team. Right. I don't. I just don't. But I'm glad they signed him. and I want to see what happens.
Okay.
Final comment is Summer League. I'm really excited to see that Travers perform well. I'm really excited to see that Tyson perform well. Obviously, you want to see your new rookie do well.
Sure.
Look, I want Hart on this team so damn bad that it's hard for me not to look at him and want to like superimpose him on top of Hart somehow and want to like fit him and paper mache him on top of him. So I don't know. He's somewhere in there. I see all kinds of bizarre comparisons, which everybody does. I also just want to jam Travers onto this team so bad somehow.
Yeah, that's happening here too.
So I don't know when it's going to happen, but that's the thing I want. So I asked you a couple questions in here. I gave you my commentary. In whatever order you want to take it, but somewhere along the line, I need to know what you think the big move is, if you think one needs to happen. And I definitely need to know what you think is going to happen with old DM.
So before I even do that, I have to share with you in my show notes, I have one question that I said we're going to touch on at some point in time. And the question is, there are still questions about the roster. If you could make one single transaction before training camp, what would it be? So
that's a question to me.
Well, I just want you to know how we are locked in.
Yeah, of course we are. Of course we are.
So that's definitely in my show notes, and it was going to come up during our conversation. So
get Luke Travers on the roster.
Yeah, honestly, I was hoping that before Summer League even ended, that would be resolved.
Yeah,
it's very clear watching him out there that he's ready, and that he brings something that we did not have in regards to intangible glue guy who knows how to be a fifth guy on the floor that makes everybody else better.
He's got the Andy gene.
He does. He has that Andy gene. He's a little bit shorter, definitely sexier with Andy had locks and stuff, but Travers, depending on what he feels like doing, mustache or
he knows how to make it happen. He knows how to fit in there and get it done.
Get it done. Aussie Bird is my favorite nickname for him.
Yes.
So yeah, no, I would really, really feel much better if he's secured.
Yeah.
And there's something, I don't even feel bad. I think if you're a Cavs fan and you talked about JBB being such a thorn and such a, like a guy that was limiting other guys so much, you absolutely owe it to yourself to be like, what would this group of guys look like with a more competent coach? So
yeah.
As much as I think I made a bet with the basketball guys where I said, if you get me Atkinson, I'll be okay to watch him cook to start the season. And
even LeVert?
Yeah,
that's
even
an
LeVert,
ingredient
man,
you're willing to.
Yeah,
that's an ingredient you're willing to keep in the pot.
It might be the off-season, kind of things where you forgot what frustrated you the most. It might be. But even LeVert, I'm even willing to see LeVert cook. I'm willing right now. There's something to Jalen Tyson where I watch him and I'm like, wait a minute. That's the kind of guy that I was pining for with Tari Eason. Yep. Like there's something that he does where he plays at his own speed. He has just enough dog in him and his approach to the game. Because he wasn't blowing by guys. He reminds me a lot of Josh Hart, like a bigger Josh Hart, but he also reminds me a lot of somebody said this on the board, and I went and looked at some grainy film. He reminds me a lot of Rick Fox, which is the kind of three, the kind of small forward that you actually want, because he's heady, he's smart, and you just feel like he'd play within himself to help the other guys play better.
That's an interesting comp. I don't remember how Rick Fox even used to play, but given that he played with Kobe and Shaq, it certainly would have had to have been very much within himself.
The irony to Rick
3D,
Fox,
I'm thinking.
The irony to him was he got drafted by Boston first, and Rick Fox kind of had like an unathletic Andre Iguodala
That makes sense. I know exactly what we're looking for there. Then, yep.
It was like from the moment he stepped on the floor, you were like, I feel like he can be better than this, but he looks and plays like he's willing to he just played the game the right way. He played the game like Bobby Knight wanted guys to play it.
I got it.
Coach K.
I got it.
That's how Jalen Tyson looks, but he's deceptive. He's like the things that irritate you the most about Okoro's offensive game. He doesn't do any of that stuff already. Just out the box as sold as a rookie, you're like, that is what a guy who's supposed to be a small forward in today's NBA is supposed to play like.
That makes sense.
Like literally has guard skills, but has the physicality, the presence, and the nose for the ball where you're like, he can easily be my 3. So I guess in that way, I gotta say, I gotta give Kobe props. Like going into the draft, I was not like, what's up with Jalen Tyson?
A lot of people were panicked about that pick.
Yeah.
Anywhere from irritated to panicked. I don't know what people were expecting, but they were not happy with Tyson.
Well, I'll give Kobe, Gansey, and Weems credit because the alternative guys, the guys who I was even calling for, did not look good in summer league. Like Filipowski did not look good in summer league.
The only guy had a lot of baggage. That guy.
Yeah, I mean, the only guy who everybody was like, "There's a possibility this guy could drop," was Kevin Ware. He looked pretty solid for Miami. But that Filipowski, no, thank you. And all the stuff that came out about his relationship and all that kind of stuff, it was like, oh, keep that far away from us. So, ironically, during summer league, we did see the first 2 picks, those 2 French dudes. Alex Sarr looked terrible. There were stretches where I was like, I don't even know if he should be on the floor next year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you got a chance to see. He had one game where he was like 0 for 15 with an O stat line, and he had a couple of rebounds. Everybody was like, yikes. The Risa Shea, the skinnier guy, he actually, to me, showed why he was the number 1 pick over that dude. But he didn't wow me either, but he definitely has more of a feel for the game. So, summer league is summer league, but I came out of it like the things that Tyson was doing, I think those things carry over,
Right. Absolutely.
He wasn't just blowing by guys or just like overwhelming anything. He was literally playing within himself. I think he was like top 5 for certain things, like 3-point percentage, and he just didn't force anything. And you're just like, wait a minute, I can watch this kid play. I can see this dude playing at the next level. So.
That's what you need to see. You just want to see guys playing within themselves and showing that they're gonna be able to perform in the NBA when they're that quality of a guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So you asked me about Donovan and what I felt, and I trust Kenny Atkinson to start this off.
I like that.
If we go into the season and we're still trying to make the Allen Mobley thing work and the Garland and the Mitchell thing work, I have a weird sense of peace knowing that Kenny Atkinson can optimize some things. So
good.
I'm gonna let Kenny cook.
I'm loving hearing that. I'm glad you hear you. I honestly had no idea what you'd say to that question.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not, usually super optimistic and all that kind of stuff, but that JVB thing was like that ingrown nail, or that, it bothered my whole experience.
100%.
So
all of us, you could see it.
Yeah, if you meant what you said, which I meant very much what I was saying about, that being the weakest link, I am kind of like, let's, see what we got, because these dudes are like mostly on the same trajectory, on the same, like they fit, they vibe in regard to personality wise. It just did not look good on the floor, but I'm so sure of how much an impact that coach had on that.
I assume I don't. The one thing I'm not sure about is I know. So the Brooklyn guys, were they traded on Kenny's watch? Were Jarrett and LeVert traded while Kenny was there, or were they traded after he was there?
I think they were traded after. I think the Harden trade happened after he was fired.
Okay, gotcha. Because I mean, I don't know whether he liked them or not. I mean, I'm assuming he liked those two guys because I know LeVert had his career best work under Kenny.
I've never heard any, and I've scoured. I've never seen any player say Kenny Atkinson is not.
No, they've loved him.
Yeah,
the players have loved him. And I know Jarrett performed well. And in fact, Jarrett was shooting threes with Kenny out there.
Yeah, there was. I mean, there were a lot of players whose games transformed while he was, not just coaching at Brooklyn, but also in Atlanta and in New York. They attributed the whole Jeremy Lin Linsanity thing to his, he was like his coach, even though he was on dude's staff, that was his focus. So I want to see him cook. Just hearing him talk was refreshing. Like he had an interview during the summer league before he flew back over to Paris, where he's getting a master class on, international open floor and stuff, and that's going to be impactful. He's going to bring that back to start the season. There's no way he can't.
Do you worry about the whole issue with like maybe Donovan, maybe not, but somebody was definitely criticizing Jarrett for his reluctance to get back onto the floor in the playoffs because of his ribs?
Jig, I genuinely don't. I think we had a palate cleansing with the JBB removal. I can't stress that enough, because even as he walked out the door before he got the Detroit job, he was throwing elbows and shots. I think he threw a subliminal shot at Jarrett Allen. I can't remember. There was somebody else that he did as well in an interview on like NBA TV or something like that. No, I honestly don't. I think with a coaching staff that's not, and you saw it through interviews and stuff when he was always like, "Oh, I'll put this." The players could have did this more. The players could have did that. And you're just like, "Wait, what?" Eventually, that breeds resentment, amongst players amongst themselves and stuff. So, I don't, and I don't think there's a question if, he's 2 years left on one of the friendliest deals for a big man who produces the way he does. So if we started off the year and whatever, hurt feelings or whatever, if that persisted with the locker room group,
fair enough.
I don't think they have any issue maximizing.
I think you're probably right there. I mean, I think the one thing is when you get into podcasts and you get into TV and all this stuff, the goal is to get people all worked up and all this kind of thing. Yeah. And then you forget, like, this isn't the corporate workplace. These are like adults playing a sport.
Right.
And like, they can just talk to each other, and like, they could just go in the locker room and be like, yeah, that was me. And like,
I've never thought Jarrett Allen was like an unapproachable, like he seemed not happy-go-lucky, but it actually frustrates me how much he is happy-go-lucky on the floor.
I agree. And that's always kind of been a thing. But like, I think that's the thing that people forget. Like, something's in the headlines, and maybe these guys see it, but like, literally, it is possible that the next day in the locker room, the one guy's just like, fuck, man, I did say something. Or they're like, man, I didn't say anything. And they all hash it out in the locker room. Or alternatively, maybe one guy punches the other guy and maybe it gets out. Maybe it doesn't get out. I think people just forget, like, this is a sport, and these guys are like, it's fucking intense, and it get, you know what I mean? And words get thrown around. And then I think the guys who are reporting on it, I mean, look, I'm not claiming I'm a professional athlete or anything, but I just think it's just wild how this stuff gets thrown around. And it's like, you just wonder how reflective it is of athletes actually playing a game and what gets thrown around in the heat of the moment.
Well, I'll say this. It was very clear that maybe they did mandate it, but everybody made it to Vegas to do some workouts with Kenny Atkinson as a group.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. There was photos and stuff that went around of these, not the summer league team, the big boys, and they were all in their summer garb. It looked like they were playing 5-on-5.
Good.
Jared Allen was there, and he had his fro looked like he just cut it all off. It was weird looking.
Really?
I was
That's interesting.
What's happening here? Like he kind
of. Maybe it's the new JA.
Everybody was there. So, and some of the pictures that I did see, he looked like he was happy and just like laughing. Like I saw one where he was sitting next to Niang. I saw, so hopefully no. And I'm not trying to be overly optimistic. I am literally saying that there's a different cook in the kitchen, and I know the food's gonna taste different. So I expect some of those things to iron themselves out,
Yeah.
Oh, did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
Okay. So, all right. I'm super optimistic about Atkinson defining roles and tailoring the way he.
I am too. I feel really good about it. He's just, I feel so good about him coming right away from Kerr, who's got that transformative. The dude is a transformative coach. The dude reinvented essentially the way to coach NBA athletes. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned,
he definitely pulled in some Zen Master mixed with some pop, mixed with it. Like you can see all the influence that Steve Kerr manages with.
Mike Brown.
Yeah.
If you did the Steve Kerr coaching website and you needed a case study, Mike Brown is it, right?
Yeah, no, he definitely was influenced by Steve Kerr.
That's it. That's your case study right there. And I'm hoping Kenny Atkinson will be the next guy. So no, I also feel really good about it.
But then there's the staff is filling out pretty nicely. The big one that was like a major coup is Johnny Bryant coming over from New York.
Tell me about that.
So I personally, I'm learning about him more through everybody on the board. I won't even pretend, like they had the guy's bio all the way up. There were guys who wanted him to be in Atkinson's chair, who was like from the beginning was dead set, like, oh, this guy is next up. And they say he worked his way up, from a college player in Utah to working one-on-one with guys to working his way on the staff to moving from that back row to right next to the main coach, Snyder, before he went to New York for the last couple of years under Thibodeau. And he, his relationship with Donovan is something, but even Donovan was like, by the time I met him, he was already like a rock star, Mm-hmm. So he's definitely not like I'm on Donovan's coattails, but he definitely helped Donovan unlock his game. And by all intents and purposes, everybody's like, this dude has paid his dues enough where you will see him be a head coach in the very near future. So I think it's awesome that the Cavs as an organization can poach a guy like that away from New York, who obviously are on the rise as well themselves,
Mm-hmm.
Whatever Thibodeau had going where the dude was like, I can go over here. He had in title, he made a parallel jump. So it wasn't like he was like, all right, I'm getting bumped up. So that has to make you feel good about the organization and about this group of guys, from some regard, that they're able to go and grab a guy like that.
You definitely like to see when your organization can get guys to make parallel moves, right? Yeah. It just says, okay, yeah, this is a better organization, or they're giving me a better role, or I have a better opportunity to win a championship. These guys.
What people were saying about Jordi Fernandez 2 years ago, they're saying about Johnny Bryant right now. So it feels good that Kenny Atkinson is willing to work with that guy where he's very clearly on a track to be a head coach. But it also feels good knowing that guy is about to bring some of what he's used to help guards really, not just guards, but guards specifically, and Atkinson too. So I'm optimistic, man. Like, between the two of them, they have been known as guard whisperers over the last 10 years. And they're both going to be like, seat 1 and seat 2.
All right. Well, let me throw you this one. Let me throw you this one. Two-sided question. Player, you're welcome to pick players, but I want to nail you down to one. Player that will see the greatest improvement under this new coaching staff, and player that will see the biggest drop in playing time. 2-point question.
Player who will see the biggest improvement and the player who will see the biggest drop
in playing time.
So I think my biggest improvement is a cheat because I believe last season was a season from hell for Darius Garland.
I knew you were going to say Garland.
I do not believe that was indicative of where his trajectory as a player is at.
Okay.
And I think it was a very unique, I think Garland came into the season no longer trusting JBB before he even had the injury issues. And early on, you and I talked and texted about it. I was like, man, Garland and Mitchell are not on the same page.
Right.
But I don't think it's with each other. I think it's more one of them is still trying to follow JBB and the other one, it was something weird that was going on there, if you recall. But the season turned into the season from hell for that guy.
Yes.
I believe that at the very least, Kenny Atkinson is going to restore his arc.
Okay.
I think actually he's not just going to restore it, but coming out the gate, he's going to weaponize him a lot better. I think he's one of the first things he's going to do is take that over probing and over, I just want to pass and, create for others. I think he's going to change that for him really quickly.
Okay.
So I project that for biggest improvement. I want to say, because this is what I'm hopeful of as a Cavs fan, I want to say Mobley finally takes that leap. And I do believe that with a competent offensive system that knows how to weaponize his strengths, he probably will. But I'm sure that Darius Garland's going to play and show and produce better.
Okay.
So there's that. Worst, as in having the most playing time taken away. It's not even a hope. They better not play George Niang like.
That was I'm looking at your Niang's face right now. I'm staring right at his face. I agree.
If he better be at best our 11th or 12th guy.
I agree. I hope that he's getting paid the most money out of that group thing does not apply. I agree 100% that he better be losing some playing time, and that it better be getting grabbed up by some combination of, I don't know what kind of position situation. Well, sure. you finish, and then I'll.
He just shouldn't even be on the floor like that. Like he's like a break glass in case of emergency.
That's how he better be.
He's what we thought Tristan, when the season started, before we knew Tristan was on the needle, we were like, man, if this dude is playing serious minutes, we're in trouble. And then we saw him, we were like, wait a minute, no, put him out there. Niang needs to start off the season if he's here, which I don't want him to be. But if he is, he better start the season as the 11th or 12th guy. And I don't even have to think twice about that. There is no reason he should have played as much as he played last season under any circumstance.
I can't watch him do that weird leg kick thing. That has to be. I can't watch it. You only see it if you go watch games in person, I think.
Right.
But every time he walks out on the floor, I don't know if it's a tick or if it's because he has back spasms because he's overweight.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't know which one of those two things it is. If it's a tick, sorry. I mean, like that, maybe it's a mental thing. I have no idea. But if it's because it's a weight thing and he's having like back spasms or something,
right?
George, lose 30 pounds, please, for the sake of everybody on your team.
All jokes aside, at least 30 pounds.
At least 30 pounds. At least. God, I mean,
there was. I know what you're talking about because he almost looks like he's got like a prosthetic leg or something like that.
It does. It looks like a joke. It infuriates me when he does that move. It infuriates me. He walks out on the floor and he kicks his legs up twice. He does
that little thing like he's like about to get on a horse. Like I'm
exactly. It makes me so angry when he does that move. And so, anyways, we're on the same page. Garland's got to be the guy, right? So let's say if I can't use Garland because it's more of like he's just gonna fill in like progress to the mean.
Sure.
I'd go with Mobley. I would say that I think when you get a really good coach in there, the pressure's on, right? I mean, he's going to have to get out there and he's going to have to find a way to take Mobley and use him as the hub that he probably always should have been anyways, right? So somebody's got to have the balls to use Mobley differently. And maybe he's the guy to do it. So
I don't even think he would have got the job if he didn't come in like, this is my number one.
Exactly. Okay. You hire the coach that comes into the interview and says and goes in and tells you, yeah, okay, I know how to use that.
That's a generational guy. Yeah.
And then the follow-up is, and here's how I'm going to do it, right? And to me, I think that's you're either gonna be able to use him coming in off the perimeter, which he demonstrated he can do, right? Or you're going to be able to use him as a hub, or both, right? So my answer is going to be Evan, because I think he's going to be able to add on to his game.
I agree. Okay.
The guy that I think is going to lose the most playing time is George. If I was going to say it had to be somebody else, I guess I would throw out maybe like I think a new coach is going to like Strus, so you can't yank him. I mean, I guess he could probably throw Merrill to the end of the bench because his playing time is going to get like totally eaten up by LeVert.
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Make it. I'm probably just going to have to make it Yang just because I can't do it with him. I just can't do it with him anymore. And then you got to get some playing time to my boy Aussie Bird. Got to get him in there. So those are my answers as well. It's easy to forget Dean Wade, man. I think he's going to want to get him in there.
It actually is easy.
Isn't it easy to forget those 10 to 15 excellent minutes you can get out of Dean if he's healthy, which he never is?
I can't forget that Boston game. Like, what in the hell was that? And how is he not, like, what? Like, is that something that we can see again? Is like, or was he just out of his mind shooting on that one particular night?
Man, he's a damn good player. Guys just never
just snake bitten.
Yeah, seems to be snake bit with injuries. It's unfortunate. He's just a guy. You talking about that March 5th, 8 for 11. Yeah, he's done that. I mean, he's done that plenty of times.
So we just need him to be healthy, and he can, he literally is a invaluable piece to the rotation. The way the roster looks right now.
Yeah, I'm not counting on anything from Merrill. I have no idea what they're going to do with Porter. I really don't. I really think he's going to be a damn good player, but I don't even know where the hell he fits.
I want to admit something without, I'm keeping with my strong, good feeling vibes.
Okay.
I am sincerely over both Isaac Okoro and Caris LeVert, but I'm willing, to let Kenny show us something.
Yeah. But it's clean slate. Give it a clean slate. Let's see what this guy can do.
I'm over it. But,
I'm with
it. Like watching Jalen Tyson made me like, I don't even want this guy in his way. But okay.
With Tyson out there, they're gonna want to get what kind of play? So here's another question. What kind of playing time is Tyson getting in the first? Let's go first 20 games, next 20 games, next 20 games, next 20 games. Playoffs, he's not getting any time.
I genuinely think you can't answer that because I feel and know like there's still going to be an acquisition before the season starts.
Okay, fair enough.
And so early. If you ask that question, still question about the roster, one single transaction. I would very much like one of those Brooklyn guys, preferably Cam Johnson first, then DFS after that. And if it only costs us like Okoro and draft compensation,
I'd love to trade him. God, I'd love to trade Okoro.
Yep. So that is the transaction that would make me feel much better. There's been whispers, because JVB took over in Detroit, and they just went and acquired some other bigs. And it's just they got a weird logjam. They got like 6 bigs right now, and Beef Stew, and he's long been a guy on my radar.
Yeah,
he looks like the guy that's going to be pinched the most. I would kill to have Beef Stew. So if we did one of the things that Kobe's always surprised us with is when everybody else calms down, it seems like he's still in somebody's ear, and he makes these August trades. So if he somehow pulled some magic out of his hat and acquired one of those wingmen from Brooklyn, and even better, acquired a big from Detroit, that third big guy, that would be awesome. So,
yeah,
as is, I'm ready to cook. I'm ready to let Kenny cook.
I agree.
I think these dudes are all they seem invigorated. They seem reinvigorated.
Yes.
It's been cool watching Donovan on social, like really say, I'm putting my bags down here for a little bit of time.
Definitely.
This is home, and these are my guys. And
yeah,
really kind of 100%. Wrap his arm around,
He's a good dude. I'm not buying a jersey, but he's a good dude.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I think all in all, it was disappointing to go through it when I feel like everybody, I literally feel like everybody except for Mirror Rich and Two for the Brew. And then Brew, probably like late season Brew was like, yeah, get this guy out of here. Everybody on the board was like, this guy should have been gone already. And so then, have the season end the way it did with some weird injury things that just kind of like, you kind of had this weird feeling like even if we didn't have the injuries, we were kind of like, competing a little bit with them.
Mm-hmm.
To have the course correction that we're doing with the coaching staff and know that the two guys that we were worried the most about if they were going to be re-signed, if they were, going to give us a little bit more time to figure this thing out, have done that.
Yes.
I'm optimistic going into next year. Like,
As am I.
I can put a bow on this season and say, we can go in the next season as is, and I'd be like, yo, okay, what you got, Atkinson?
That's a big question. Yeah, at the beginning of the show, I agree. That's why I was not shocked that we were going to go into the season as is, and especially I think signing Donovan signaled that, right?
Yeah.
And Darius being hurt.
This wouldn't be Rubber Rim Job without me throwing this curve at you. We haven't talked in a couple weeks, and I miss my boy. So I'm genuinely asking, what are you listening to, or what have you heard recently? Give us our patented jig record.
Man, I've been listening to all kinds of stuff lately. Let me go to
bouncing around too with the summertime being
here. I've really been bouncing around all kinds of stuff. I've been shooting around a lot more than usual because we're warming up for we're warming up for Luke's got a new basketball team I put together. It's not AAU
yet, man. How's this summer looked as a player before we get back to your record thing?
Oh, interesting. Good. He's been doing his one-on-one training stuff. Oh shit, man. Now you asked me now that's a big question, dude. I'm not gonna.
You did you've committed. You've spent some money on some camps and stuff this whole summer.
We're in, dude. Yeah. So yeah, last show we did, we were out at State College doing a breakthrough basketball camp. That went really well. All right, man. I got to brag on my dude now.
Yeah, no, that's your favorite player, man.
He deserves it, man. He's been working hard. So I watched him at the camp. I popped in for 30 minutes each day. Okay. And so like we live in a small town in Western PA, and he's been good here. Like, I mean, he does really well in his league. But then it's fun to like take him out to like other cities and see how he does. Sure. So he went to like a Cavs camp out in Cleveland. Like he did really well. He hung really well with kids out there. That was fun for him and me. It's cool to watch him play. And then when we went out to like the State College area, he hung with kids out there really well. But it was really neat, man, because like whenever we were finishing up, I was watching him and he was just balling on D, man. Like it was cool seeing him shoot, and he was shooting and he was like winning drills and all that kind of stuff. But at the end, I saw this one coach like was talking to him, like took him aside, like at the end. Right. And he came up to me and I go, dude, what was that coach saying to you? And he said, well, that guy said, one day I bet I come out to I don't want to say the name of my town, but he's like, I bet I come out to your town and we end up watching you play some ball out there. And I was like, yeah, dude, that's so cool. I was like, do you know how cool that is that they said that to you? And then like awesome. I was pumped up on that, but then I was going out to my car, and then the one girl coach like came running up to us like as we were about to leave. And then she goes, I just want to tell you that your son has the best attitude. He was like, she's like, as good of a player as he has been this whole week. He's such a great sport, and he's been such a great leader the whole time he's been here. I'm like sitting here and I was like high off that like first comment, and I'm like,
right.
I was like, dude, I'm so fucking proud of you right now.
That's pretty awesome.
I was like, I had to like stop the car. I couldn't even like drive for a minute. I was like, this is like
I'm down with that. I
was like, this is like a freaking dream, man. Like I get to coach him and like we get to go to this stuff. I was like, man, I get excited for my own accomplishments and all that kind of stuff. I really do.
It's different when it's
I mean, I barely even say anything about it when I accomplish stuff, but like, man, when he does that kind of stuff, it is so freaking cool. And I'm talking to him, I'm like trying to convince him of like what a big deal it is. And he's like, he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
He totally whatever's all of it too. I'm like, dude, he won a game last year with buzzer beater. And he's like, whatever. I'm like, man, such a great kid. So, anyways, we did all that. He's got a new team. What's that? What's that?
Gave him his clap sound effect. Shout out to Luke, man.
Shout out to Luke, man. So yeah, anyways, I've been shooting around with him outside a lot. So what I like to do is I like to put the Alexa out there. So I haven't been doing albums as much, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you the last few songs that I listened to that come up on my Alexa. How about that?
Okay, I'm going for that.
You're gonna probably think I'm lying because the first one that comes up is there's 5 Camp Lo songs right in a row.
Nice.
Right?
I just saw a Camp Lo performance, honestly.
You just went out and saw him?
No, not live. I saw something on YouTube, and I think they might be touring right now.
Are they for real? I would love to watch Camp Lo, man. Are they good live?
Oh yeah. No, yeah. They opened up for Diggable Planets a couple of years ago here in Nashville.
I think you told me about that. Yeah.
And they performed every song that they made. So they were on set. They were up there for like an hour and a half. And everybody was like, wait a minute. Like it wasn't a moment where you were like, I'm tired of seeing these dudes and I'm tired. Like they were drunk, but
they were drunk, you said?
Yeah, they were totally up. Show was really good though. Like this is, what did they have? 2 albums?
Is that all they did was 2 albums?
I think so. But they 30 years in the game performing those 2 albums, so they knew their material that well. I love Camp Lo. I'm down with that.
I love them, man. Yeah. So Sparkle was the last one, and then then I had some Stone Temple Pilots mixed in. So there was Tripping on a Hole in a Paper Heart, Sour Girl, All in the Suit That You Wear, Dead and Bloated, and then that was mixed up with a bunch of Camp Lo, like right in a row off of Uptown Saturday Night.
All right.
I think I already did that album though, so I can't.
I think you did do Camp Lo, Uptown Saturday Night, but I'm okay with it.
Right? What do you got?
So I've not been doing a bunch of music over the last couple of weeks, but I keep starting and stopping the new Common and Pete Rock album.
Ooh.
Common and Pete Rock. So both of them are like 40 plus. And everybody was like, oh man, like there was such a build up behind it because Pete Rock is like a greatest of all time producer. And
Definitely.
Common is, like a lot of people's top 10 MC kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And everybody's just worried. Like, if y'all get together, are y'all going to make this like, like sometimes how people sound like they're over the hill kind of thing? No, they were true to what hip hop was like when they
damn good.
Yeah. And so does it have like a feel like wait, this is a little slice out of the 90s, like late 90s going in? It does, but it's modern. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time I've been listening to that, I found myself revisiting Nas King's Disease 2, which surprised me that ended up being the best album out of all his King Disease albums and stuff. So Common and Pete Rock and Nas King Disease 2. I've been playing nonstop whenever I do listen to music over the last couple of weeks. So
I still haven't dug into Nas at all.
Oh man, we're gonna kick off this. We're gonna kick off the season with me like talking to you about Nas.
I know you have. I got into the Roots for your suggestion. I still have not. Of course, man, I love him, but I still have not gotten into Nas even a little bit.
All right, I got you.
It's what's the way to describe it? It's it feels, I don't know if this, it feels like a little bit of work, right? Like taking on a new artist that's like, that I know for a fact is like really good.
Yes.
It feels like work. Like I want to make
it seems daunting. Like,
it feels daunting.
Do I want to read the Iliad? Like, oh man, I know for a fact. Like, do I want to watch Game of Thrones from the beginning? You know, kind of
like
thing.
Exactly. Like Camp Lo, for example, toss it on. Like no effort, right? Yeah. The Roots, daunting. Like felt like it was some effort to dig into. Still not as much as like is Nas. Not, I feel like I got to take on Nas. I feel like I got to take the whole thing on. Something about it. It's a little intimidating.
Yeah, no, I get it. Because everybody's like, if he's got 10 or 15 albums, everybody's like, man, there's like way more than half of them could be his best album. It's like, oh man, I don't want to miss any of those, you know? Like,
something about the experience just it just feels like, I don't know if I could describe it. There's like a little bit of anxiety to it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send you something. I'm gonna text you something. It's gonna be a YouTube.
Yeah, make this easy on me.
Okay. I may have talked about it. So there's two different people.
Let me jump into this.
There's a father and his son that are both from Canada, but the son explains music and helps his father get into it, but his father already has a good musical palette.
Mm-hmm.
They covered, like, his first time hearing Nas, this video that they had, I was like, man, that was like a very good introduction, because his father really listens to like lyrics and stuff and lyricism.
I'm a definite lyric guy for sure.
So that father and his son, and then there's this dude who, like, I can't remember his name right now, but he's like a younger brother who he's got a lot of antics and stuff, but his musical, he really gets, like, when he gets past the performance stuff, you're like, man, this dude has a really good grasp on music. I thought, you know, because he has, during his reflection videos, he has all the lyrics on the screen and stuff. And
Nas does.
No, the guy I'm talking about.
Oh, in the video you're talking
about. YouTubers who are like, we're going to experience Nas for the first time. I'm going to send you both of them. And they both give commentary that makes you,
I dig that.
Yeah, appreciate, like, wait, like, I'm actually digging into this. Like, I'm not missing any of this stuff. I don't feel
like those.
Yeah.
I like that.
So the two of those, the Canadian dad and his son, and then
I like that kind of stuff.
This brother. I'm going to send you both of them, and they're both diving into Illmatic, which was just listed as the #1 hip hop album of all time by Rolling Stones magazine.
I've seen it on there before. I'm gonna throw you something. I totally forgot about this.
What's up?
It had been years since I'd listened to Jimi Hendrix. Anything hadn't popped up on anything I'd listened to in forever. I listened to him like crazy when I was in high school, right. And then every once in a while, the stuff would like pop up on, like, just, you know, like automated playlists. And then I was playing some ball, and I was like, just trying to figure it out. I couldn't come up with anything. I was like, I'll just throw on some Jimmy and automate it. Oh man, I like completely forgot like how mind-blowingly amazing. And again, it's like almost like a basic type of thing. I feel like,
sure.
Why bother even talking about Jimi Hendrix? But like, sometimes I just forget like how awesome it is. Great to just shoot to. Great to just like kind of like take it easy and easy to get in the zone. I
agree. Like that. Like, sometimes when you hear about those legends and you're detached from a little bit, you know, like I'm not actively listening to
exactly
Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, like some of the stuff that came from the you know, that West Coast stuff. I'm not actively listening to it right now, so you can just be like, oh, you know, like they're, you know, Stones, all that kind of stuff. It's like, oh,
yeah.
But when you jump back in there and you're like, wait a minute, you know,
yes.
Like,
oh man, I was like,
would still be that guy.
That's totally, absolutely, that's exactly right. It was really particularly fun going back to that because you don't do that anymore, right? Like people aren't playing guitar like that now. Thoughts on auto-tune? we got
a comment. It's the summertime, and we didn't expect to have people in here actively engaged.
I know, that's too funny. That's a pleasure to see.
We gotta give a shout out, and also get his comment in there. And then we'll close on that. Actually, what do you
think about the auto-tune? I can see it as a tool. But that's funny because I know he's saying that because I was making fun of it in one of those threads.
Yeah, people were like the whole Super Bowl not Super Bowl.
Yes.
All-Star game, Major League All-Star. They said it was in the wrong pitch and everything. Yeah, I don't care for it. Like I get. People are lazy vocalists now. I don't care for it. I didn't care for it when T-Pain was using it, and guys like Ty Dolla $ign today are still using it pretty heavy.
There's no soul or feeling to auto tune.
I'm a Jay Dilla guy, and Dilla did not believe in quantizing his beats. If you know anything about beat making, when you quantize something, you let the drum machine make your patterns for you. So if it's on like a 4/4,
I didn't know that, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, quantizing is like, we'll make this easier for you so you don't have to be on beat. That's what auto-tune is for singing for me. So
okay.
I'm anti-quantize, I'm anti-auto-tune.
Of course, you got to put in the work, man.
Yeah.
For music, yeah, absolutely. I get it.
If I have a choice, I'm going to go get that whole homemade kitchen from scratch meal as opposed to some fast food.
100%. 100%.
Auto-tune and quantizing.
Taste the love. You want to taste the love, man.
Yeah. So good call. Good question there.
Good question. I love it. I love that.
So Jig, we are closing out season 3, my brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it's been dope, man. Like when I first shot you an email and then we connected on a call, 3 years ago now, I did not think, like we were still gonna be rocking. And I think, like subscribers have grown and engagement, that second half of the season, like we did pretty well for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Season 3, we did pretty good. Like we had some engagement. We started laying out plans and stuff like that. But I'm super grateful that we keep growing this thing, man.
Oh, it's just fun, man. I love getting in here with you, and then it's super fun whenever people are in. We had a lot of people here whenever we did the draft. Let me
tell you what. It wasn't just, so the draft. So that was a mea culpa from that drunk draft, right? Like,
yeah,
we had 20 something people, and it was randomly, dudes, falling out and all that kind of stuff. This draft, we did it pretty clean. A lot of people had their cameras off. Who was the dude, the deep voice? Starts with a D.
Not Chicago Cav fan, was it?
No. So like legends, like RCF legends, like Chicago Cav fan showed up and got on.
Yeah, Nate Dagg was there. Axe was there.
Q, wild. My boy Q, he jumped on.
Q, I missed Q. Yeah.
Rafters. I mean, a bunch of guys that we were just like, wait, what? Smooth unveiled the model face and stuff.
Yeah, handsome man. So
that was pretty awesome. But throughout the whole course of the season, this third year, I really loved the user engagement. I think this platform here helped us with that.
Yeah, huge part of it. Love it.
Man, that season was fun. Like, Sebastian leading a mutiny of guys who he just like.
That's his thing.
Every game he was ready to overthrow the government, and I love that.
That's his thing, man.
It was fun. I can't remember like I do remember, but I just remember people like Foucault and Stick Boltman being like that.
I believe Foucault and Soulblade are one and the same, maybe.
I think so. I think Foucault is Soulblade. I totally would butcher. If he's still live here, if you comment on, I'm pretty sure that's.
I think that's
it. But JJ, yes, Soulblade is Foucault.
Yeah.
JJ, he was super busy this season, but he kept popping in anyway.
Great poster.
Yeah, just a bunch of guys. Like I'm really doing a disservice by not saying every name, but it was pretty dope.
Doing good. I know you mean.
I just want to give a shout out to the entire stream team that kept jumping in and making us jump in, and stay active. Enjoy the rest of your summers, bros. Watch this Olympics, and let's get ready to let Kenny cook.
Yeah.
Rubber Rim Job, season 3.
Signing off.
Rich and Jig signing off.
All right.
Before we get ready to start next season, Jig, I'm going to make sure that Have a Good Night, Everybody is on this board. because that's the one thing that was missing from this season.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night, everybody. So, all right, my brother. Let me see if when I end the stream, if you pop up, we're gonna chat for a minute and then we're gonna get up out of here.
I don't think I'll pop up. I think it's